You're watching the ACC Network Extra. On a comfortable Friday night here at Jim Patterson Stadium in Louisville, Kentucky, a couple of ranked teams start a weekend three-game series, the NC State Wolfpack and the Louisville Cardinals. And hi, everyone, and welcome once again to ACC Baseball. Jim Kelch, along with former Cardinal outfielder Jeff Gardner. Jeff, when you look at these two ball clubs and you think about preseason expectations, they're really kind of reversed of where we thought they would be.
Well, they really have. Louisville preseason was picked as #2 in the polls, while the Wolfpack were picked at #4, and now NC State seems to be leading the way for the Atlantic Division.
Well, let's take a look then at the ACC Atlantic Division standings.
Well, if you look right there, NC State leading the charge with a 9-3 conference record. They've won 7 straight conference series, and that's dating back to last season, while Louisville at 5-7 has lost 3 straight conference series.
Let's take a look then at the stats comparison for these two ball clubs.
Yeah, and here's where you see the big differences right there at the batting average. The Wolfpack, this is a Wolfpack of sluggers is who they are, and the Cardinals are hitting just .272, but they're making It's a tall lefty, and that means that the lefties in this Wolfpack lineup need to watch out. His cutter is the out pitch that he loves to go to, and the key for him tonight is that he settles in early. A lot of times he struggles that first time through the lineup, and it takes him an inning or two to really get settled. If he can get settled right off the bat, Cardinals will have a good chance.
Take a look at the lineup then that he will face, put forth by NC State. Well, Josh McClain in the leadoff spot. He'll be in center field. Then Brett Kinnaman. Will Wilson is the shortstop hitting third. Evan Edwards at first. Patrick Bailey the catcher. Steven Patera is at second base. Bottom three include Brock Deathridge in right. David Vasquez the DH, and Dylan Cooper plays third and bats ninth. We are ready to go, and we are underway from Patterson Stadium here in Louisville, Kentucky, with a bunt foul by Josh McClain, and that's how this one gets started.
It's not how you expect the game to get started from a team that's hitting .310. But
now you bring up a good point. They lead the conference in hitting, in on-base percentage, in runs scored, in home runs. Josh McClain, a healthy .333 average with 21 runs batted in.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch this Wolfpack team tonight. Anytime you can get a team batting average that's up over 300 or anywhere close to it, really, that means you got a pretty offensive ball club that tends to make the games interesting.
We're just about at the halfway point of the season, and there's still obviously the second half to go. But if you compare what NC State did a year ago versus what they have done so far this year, it's astounding. Last year as a team, they hit .275. This year, we mentioned .310 right now. Last year as a team, a 4.13 ERA. This year, 2.98, best in the conference, 18th best team ERA in the country.
Yeah, they really are a well-rounded club.
Wolf 3-2, ERA 2.68, trying to snap a 2-game losing streak. In fact, he had been undefeated in his career going into the start on the 23rd of March against Clemson. Lost that game, and then lost the follow-up start for him down at Florida State. So he had been 9-0 in his career. Lost to Clemson, lost to Florida State, trying to bounce back here against the Wolfpack.
Yeah, and that was a real shame about Clemson, because Wolf pitched an absolute gem that game. I think he went 8 innings pitched, just 3 walks and 9 strikeouts. I mean, you can't ask for a better start from your Friday night starter, and just didn't have the offense to back him up, and that seems to be the story for the Cardinals so far.
And remember, in that game, there was an early inning error that led to 2 unearned runs.
Well, it's those little things, those little details that lead to wins or losses in conference play.
Good location there by Wolf, in on the fist of McClain, who pops it up for out number 1. Mentioned at the top of the broadcast, a comfortable Friday night, overcast, but the temperature is in the upper 50s, maybe low 60s. Going to get cooler as the night progresses, and then over the weekend, unfortunately, what we've come to expect so far in the early part of the season, cold weather.
That's right. That can be sometimes a battle for some of these southern teams that, well, more southern than Kentucky, I should say, that come up to play. And Louisville could use any advantage that they're given against this NC State team.
Here's Brent Kinnaman, one of 4 left-handers in the lineup for Elliott Avent. He's their left fielder. Checks in at .336, a dozen home runs, 36 runs batted in.
Not a bad place to be midway through the season.
He leads the conference in long balls. He's 3rd with his 36 RBIs. And he'll go and offer to pitch down and in and not get it. He's a strikeout victim.
It's a great pitch by Wolf right there. And that's what the Cardinals are going to need from Wolf, just to be dominant early on in the game. As you can see right here, gets him with what looks like maybe a front door cutter. Just a subtle break right there at the end, but proved to be enough for Kinnaman. And that's a hitter that Wolf really needs to tame to give the Cardinals the best chance tonight.
There's Will Wilson with 2 men out. Wilson starting second baseman a year ago, starting shortstop this year, sophomore out of Kings Mountain, North Carolina. Hitting .324 with 7 home runs. They have 7 players on their team hitting over .300. He's one of them.
Well, if you're a pitcher, if you're part of the Wolfpack pitching staff, then you're thrilled about that. Getting good run support and getting quality hitters, that means the world to pitchers.
This borderline call goes the way of Adam Wolf, and the count goes full.
That's a great pitch right there by Wolf. Throws that 2-seam fastball that runs right at Wilson's hip and drops right back over the plate.
He got him on an off-speed pitch. Good comeback by Adam Wolf of Louisville. For NC State in the first game of this series is the big right-hander Johnny Piedmont.
Well, I think big might be an understatement. This guy is huge, 6'8". That's a big frame that you love to see out there on the mound. The thing about that is a guy like him with that kind of size and those long arms, long legs, it allows him to get a lot of down angle on his fastball. Piedmont doesn't have a lot of off speed, but he's more of a guy. He doesn't have much that's going to wow you, but he's more of a guy that they're going to run out there and he's going to pitch to contact. He's not blowing hitters away, but he's just trying to get some ground ball outs. And the key for a guy like him is to just stay low in the zone. That's what he's going to need to do tonight. Try and force some grounders against the Cardinals.
He's 6'8", 240 out of Davidson, North Carolina. He's a grad student who was granted a 6th year of eligibility. This is a guy, Jeff, that missed 3 years due to Tommy John surgery.
Yeah, he's definitely had his bouts with injuries, but he's back here with the for NC State, and I think they're happy to have him back in the rotation.
Your key right there, stay down in the zone.
Well, that's right, because if you leave something up to really any lineup in the ACC, you're likely to not get that ball back. So for Piedmont, he needs to keep the ball low, keep it down in the zone tonight, and try to force some ground balls to this Louisville lineup.
Speaking of, here's how the Cardinals line up tonight from an offensive standpoint. Tyler Fitzgerald will move back into the starting #1 spot at shortstop. Jake Snyder second, Devin Mann third. Logan Wyatt, Josh Stowers, Drew Campbell, the middle 3. Danny Oriente, Pat Romero, and Justin Levy round out the starting 9 for Dan McDonald's club. Piedmont against Fitzgerald to get it started. That ball cued right off the end of the bat. Edwards handles it down at first base. Boy, there's an off-speed pitch right out of the gate.
Yeah, there it is right there. And like I mentioned, Piedmont's not a guy. He's not going to blow things by guys. He's not going to do anything crazy, but he's just going to pitch to contact. He's going to throw strikes, try to make Louisville put it in play, and just see what happens.
We should know Jeff, that Dan McDonnell has tweaked his lineup a little bit going into tonight.
That's right. He's adjusted some things and moved Stowers back down a little bit lower in the lineup. I believe he's hitting over 300 with runners in scoring position. So, excuse me, with runners on base. And so they're trying to give him just a little bit more opportunity in that situation.
Piedmont gets a ground ball there off the bat of Snyder, handled by Wilson, the shortstop. So 2 pitches, 2 out for the big right-hander Piedmont here in the bottom of the first.
Yeah, the Cardinals playing right into Piedmont's trap, it seems. Swinging early. That's one thing, especially with your leadoff guy swinging first pitch and getting out. As a 2-hole hitter, you've got to know you need to be taking that first pitch. And that's something that's difficult for a lot of young hitters, but it's frustrating for the rest of the team, and especially your pitcher, if as soon as he gets back in the dugout, right when he feels he catches his breath, he's got to run back out there.
Solid contact there, and a base hit up the middle for Devin Mann. So he is on with 2 out. Now stretches it into 2, and he gets in there ahead of the tag of the second baseman, Patera.
That is an awesome play right there by Mann, and that is just hustling right out of the gate. He was thinking 2 all the way, and it worked out for him.
We'll watch Josh McClain. Oh, we don't get to see it here, him go after that ball. But look at the hustle by Mann with a headlong slide just ahead of the tag out at second base. The head coach, Elliot Avent, comes out, takes a look at his second baseman. They want to know, do you or do you not want us to take a look at it? And Coach Avent says yes. Review this. So they'll take a look at the play at second base. We'll see if we can get a closer look at what they're going to see here.
Yeah, from that angle we just watched the replay, it looked like his body got in there before the ball, excuse me, before the tag ever got down, but I'm interested to see from maybe another angle. It was a great hustle play by Mann, but going back to the replay, this is where it either makes or breaks that situation. Yeah, I think I saw his elbow bend before the tag was even gotten down in there. I think he's safe all the way.
He gets in there initially. The question will be, did he come off the bag after the slide? And Patera keeping the ball on the body of Mann, maybe getting the out. You see the second base umpire right in there, Brian Miller. He's got a great look at it. So the umpires take a look, and we'll see. They're coming out quickly. The call is safe.
Yeah, I think that's the right call there.
So the Cardinals are runner in scoring position with 2 out quickly here in the bottom of the first.
Well, what I'd like to see, honestly, is the replay of how McClain fielded that ball. Shows what allowed Mann to sneak into second there.
Let's see if we can get a look at that as Wyatt bats with a runner at second, 2 out. Sophomore first baseman comes into this game with a team leading .343 average. Here's the look now of after that ball went off bat of Mann.
Yeah, you can see McClain really just kind of showboated that ball in there. Took a knee to field it and then just lightly chucked it in there. Credit to Mann for picking up on that and sneaking in there. I'll tell you what, there's a lot of guys behind home plate that just took note of that.
And Josh McClain has made a mental note to himself never to do that kind of non-hustle play again.
Well, as we talked about, it's the little things in this game that make a big difference. And as you just saw, Piedmont with the wild pitch right there, throwing it behind Wyatt, with Mann having the hustle play to get to second base, and then this right here, this allows Mann to get to third base and really give Wyatt an easy RBI opportunity if he can just move the ball to the left side.
They jam him here. Is this playable? It's going to be caught by the third baseman, Cooper. Cardinals strand a runner at third in the first. First inning here at Jim Patterson Stadium in Louisville. Wolfpack come up for the top of inning number 2. Evan Edwards, their first baseman, to lead things off. Junior college transfer, played at USC Lancaster for 2 years. having a nice first year at the Division I level. Hitting .318 with 8 home runs.
Yeah, Edwards doing a great job for the Wolfpack lineup so far this year. As you mentioned, .318 with 8 homers. I mean, they've got some guys in this lineup that can just really slug it.
They actually bumped the fellow who's starting at second base tonight, Steven Patera, out of his job at first. He was the first baseman a year ago. Junior college player. Edwards came in and took that spot over. Edwards 8 home runs, tied for third in the conference. Junior out of Greensboro, North Carolina, had 2 very nice years at junior college at Southern Carolina Lancaster, over 300 both years. He had 17 home runs a year ago. Inside outs it to left. Snyder will handle that.
It's a big, strong kid right there to inside out that ball with that kind of speed. That ball was hot off the bat, and he really didn't barrel it up.
Here's the head coach of the Wolfpack, Elliot Avent, in his 22nd year, the all-time winningest coach in Wolfpack baseball history with over 800 wins as a Wolfpack head man. He had 8 years prior to coming to NC State at New Mexico State, so he sits over 1,000 wins in his career. In fact, he is one of only 15 active D1 coaches with over 1,000 wins.
He's been around the game a lot and had a lot of success there at NC State.
Taking them to 3 straight NCAA tournaments, 10 of the last 12. Boy, they are off to a very good start this year, 23-5. As we showed you at the top, sitting atop the ACC Atlantic Division with a 9-3 record, a game ahead of Clemson at 8-4, Florida State at 7-5, and then Louisville and Wake Forest at 5-7. Out in front of that is Bailey, and it'll be handled by Wyatt in foul ground. Take a look at the Louisville defensive look from an infield perspective. Levy, Fitzgerald, Mann, and Wyatt have started all 29 games from third to first. Pat Rumaro is the catcher in this game.
They've had a consistent lineup out there in the infield, and they've done a great job so far for the Cardinals.
So with 2 out, it's the second baseman, Steven Patera. Hasn't gotten a whole lot of playing time earlier this year. Only 3 for 8 coming into this game. Last year as the first baseman for the club, hit .265. Playing in only his 6th game this year, his 3rd start. Fitzgerald cannot get it. A 2-out single by Patera becomes the first Wolfpack base runner of this game.
Yeah, Fitzgerald looked like he was going to make a play on it right there, but just out of the reach. Maybe had he kept running towards the left, towards the outfield just a little bit longer, might have had a shot. But overall, pretty good piece of hitting by Patera right here. It's those soft liners you live for as a hitter. It's not always about the double in the gap. It's about just taking those hits that you can and making your way on base.
Yeah, sometimes there's too much made. We were talking about this before the game. Too much made about exit velocity.
Yeah, that seems to be the term of
choice right now.
Term of choice right now. Yeah, good. Thank you. Yeah, everybody seems to be concerned with exit velocity and launch angle and this and that, and they're losing sight of honestly what I think has given a lot of people success in the game for so many years, and that's playing the actual game. You know, moving runners, doing hit and runs. You know, it's those little things that win you games, win you ball games. And flying out to the warning track four times a night isn't going to get the job done.
I'll take that hit by Patera over 4 fly balls to the wall every night.
Well, I think Luis Gonzalez probably would too. Hit like that won the World Series.
Thank you very much. 2001.
That's right. It's not always about the 3-run homer. Sometimes it's about the Texas leaguer over the second baseman's head.
Brock Deathridge bats, the right fielder, with 2 out. Lefty-lefty matchup here. Deathridge at .324 with 5 home runs. He's driven in 16. Senior out of Burlington, North Carolina. Having a bounce back year this year after hitting only .218 a year ago.
When your 7-hole hitter is hitting .324, you're doing something right. You're a team that is a force to be reckoned with. Got a lively crowd here tonight. It's something we haven't seen much of so far in the season, but finally got some really nice weather tonight. It's dollar beer night too. That'll bring a big crowd out.
Brings them out.
Might even make them a little more lively towards the end.
Now from 0-2 to 3-2, and so Patera will be on the move from first. No midweek game this past week for NC State. Louisville played down at Kentucky middle of the week and lost that game. Well, the rematch with the Wildcats here later this month. Off-speed pitch, gets his 3rd strikeout, and a 0 on the board in the top of the 2nd. Scoreless 1.5 here at Patterson Stadium in Louisville. Each team has a hit. Cardinals left a runner at 3rd in the 1st and get their 2nd crack now at the 6'8" right-hander Johnny Piedmont. There's the winningest coach in Cardinal baseball history, Dan McDonnell. 4th year participating in the ACC. His Cardinals have won the Atlantic Division in each of the first 3 years they've been in this league. Trying to make it a 4th. Stowers batting out of the number 5 spot. Hit that ball right on the nose, didn't he?
No, that ball was crushed right there by Stowers. That's the swing that we've really been waiting to see from Stowers all season. Seems to be settling in right here, and that was a great piece of hitting by Stowers right there.
Stowers came into the game hitting but .253. First pitch out there. The batter now is Drew Campbell, the right fielder. Well, the Cardinals are doing a lot of first pitch swinging in these early innings as Campbell fouls out to Patrick Bailey, and there are 2 out.
Well, I go back to my point from the first inning is that right there will get you a fine in professional baseball. Swinging on the first pitch after your leadoff guy just lined out. That's what I think these guys don't quite realize is. And that's something that's a little bit different in the college game versus the professional game. It's a little bit more aggressive and doesn't always pay off, as you see right there. But I've certainly seen. I'm trying to think if I ever received a fine for that. I don't think I did, but I know I played with some guys who certainly received a little fine right there for swinging first pitch after your leadoff guy got out.
Well, it happened in the first with Snyder, and it happens here in the second with Campbell. To the shortstop. Wilson to Edwards, and a 1-2-3, bottom of the 2nd, turned in by Johnny Piedmont. Scoreless first 2. We head to the top of the 3rd. David Vasquez, the DH of the Wolfpack, will lead things off against an effective Adam Wolf. He has struck out 3. He's had some effective off-speed stuff so far in this game. First time that Vasquez has DH this year. He comes into the game with only 30 at-bats, a .300 average. He's a freshman.
We're seeing a little bit more of the changeup from Wolf this week. Usually he's relied heavily on his cutter, but I think he's feeling a little bit more comfortable with the changeup, and he's throwing it to a lot of these right-handed hitters.
NC State has used a number of different players in the DH role this year. They try Vasquez at least in this game. Defensively, the Cardinals play Vasquez straight up. Hard base hit there. The leadoff man on to start the third for the Wolfpack.
Well, that's huge for NC State right there. Anytime you can get your leadoff man on base, you're setting yourself up for success throughout that inning.
Fourth in the league in steals with 37. Vasquez personally on the year has not attempted a stolen base. Dylan Cooper, the third baseman, bats now. Bad attempt at a bunt there by Cooper. Hitting .298. Those are the numbers you see there for Vasquez. Cooper now at .298 with 17 runs batted in. Bunts it in the air. Going to be handled by Wyatt. Now, we've talked in the past, Jeff, about the ability to bunt, the small things to get the job done. Cooper didn't do it there.
No, he didn't, and NC State misses out on an opportunity just like that. You know, you get your leadoff guy on. If you can move him over with a bunt, you'll be in great shape. Would set up McLean, a guy who's hitting .331, a guy that you want to have hitting while having a runner in scoring position. But instead, now you've got the double play lined up, and Louisville's sitting pretty to get out of the inning quickly.
Popped up behind shortstop, caught by Fitzgerald to get this game started. McLean in the first game of last weekend's series down at Virginia Tech went 0 for 4 in game 1, notable because it ended his 13-game hitting streak. .44 hits at the start of the day, tied for second in the conference. McLean actually drafted last year. Obviously didn't sign, came back here to play his senior year at NC State, drafted in the 14th round by the Dodgers. We should go back and touch, Jeff, on something you mentioned at the during the open about NC State's ability to win conference series dating back really to last year.
Yeah, that's right. They've got 7 straight conference series wins dating back to last year, and that just shows that's a team that knows how to get it done really when it counts. Obviously, you want to play well leading up to conference play, but once you get into conference play, that's when these games really start to matter, especially being in a team, or excuse me, like in a conference like the ACC, where every game really affects your RPI.
Lost the first game of that series last weekend at Virginia Tech, bounced back and won the next 2. This is the second time since Louisville joined the ACC that North Carolina State has been here at Patterson Stadium. The first time, actually, Elliot Avent, the head coach, did not make the trip. The story goes that he had been bitten by a snake and was recovering at home. So he didn't make the trip.
Yeah, it's a pretty interesting story right there. Not being able to make it due to snake bite.
Thank goodness he wasn't bitten by a snake coming into town this year.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Toward right center, Campbell drifts over, and Campbell gets there to make the catch.
That's a great play by Campbell. That's a guy who he really knows how to move out there in the outfield. He does a great job, and he's bounced in and out of the lineup a little bit. I know Coach Mack has wanted to get him in the lineup against righties, but he's hitting lefties well, and he plays a solid right field. I think he's really starting to lock down that position.
The rest of the crew out there, Snyder, Stowers, and the aforementioned Drew Campbell out in right. Here's Kinnaman with a runner aboard, 2 out. Given a strikeout victim his first time. Junior now back as a freshman. He was on the ACC all-freshman team and was a freshman All-American. Hitting .336 this year. Again, another guy that's having a much better year this year than he did a year ago, although he hit a respectable .282 on a team last year that went 36-25.
Big swing right there by Kinnaman. Guy who's, I'm sure, used to swinging pretty big. The guy with 12 home runs. If he's not careful, Adam Wolf will have his number all night.
Good look right behind Fitzgerald, the shortstop. Runner goes as they throw to first, and here's the tag, and Vasquez is out. That'll go down as a 1-3-6 caught stealing on Vasquez to end the top of the third. Each team has left a runner as we go to the bottom of the third. Let's revisit that caught stealing / pickoff of Vasquez at first base.
Well, Wolf does a great job right here. He's just got a feeling that he was running, and sure enough, he was right. Gets the ball over there, and credit Logan Wyatt by staying under control and getting the throw over to Fitzgerald at second.
Sometimes that can be difficult for the first baseman because he needs a throwing angle at second, which he was able to get there as he moved inside the bag.
Yeah, absolutely. Had we taken a closer look right there, Wyatt actually slides inside closer to the pitcher's mound and able to give him, as you said, give himself an angle to make the throw to Fitzgerald. Otherwise, what you'll see a lot of guys do is just stay in one spot, and then they end up hitting the base runner or launching it into the outfield by trying to throw around the runner.
So Pat Romaro will lead things off. Junior catcher out of Oak Hill, Illinois. He does most of the catching. Zach Britton, the freshman, is the number 2 catcher on this team. Romaro at .267 with a homer and 8 driven in. And now a 4-pitch walk starts the bottom of the third for Louisville.
We're seeing a lot of sliders from Piedmont here early on in the game, and he's struggling to tame it. He needs to gain control, and as I mentioned earlier in the game, the key for him tonight is going to be keeping the ball down in the zone, keeping these Louisville hitters away from it.
Piedmont went 7-0 a year ago. Career-wise, 13-5. This is his 50th collegiate appearance, 36th career start. And despite being 6'8", he's not a strikeout pitcher. There's that slider you were talking about.
Well, taking another look at it, I think it might be his fastball. Now that I think about it, I think it may just be he tends to do what a lot of pitchers will call pulling the ball, and he stays around that ball just a little bit too long and forces a little bit of cut to it. I'm still trying to figure this guy out a little bit. I can imagine the Louisville hitters are doing the same. From up here, when I look at the screen, it looks a little different than when I just look straight out onto the field here. And just like that right there, it almost has that little bit of cut to it like a slider would, but I find it hard to believe that he'd throw in a 90-mile-an-hour slider. Most guys that do that throw a 100-mile-an-hour fastball. So
he'll walk 1 every 3 or 3 every 9 innings. He'll get a pop-up here. Let's see who's going to handle this ball. Going to be called for and be caught by McLean, the center fielder, for the first out. So Levy retired. Back to first goes Romaro, and back to the top of the Louisville order. How about the Cardinals, Jeff, wearing what we consider the road grays at a home game?
Yeah, we were discussing that earlier. It's something weird to see in college baseball, but you never know what kind of unis guys are going to be wearing. You know, and at the professional level, it's easy. You either wear white pants or gray pants, depending on whether you're home or away. Sometimes in college baseball, they like to mix it up a little bit.
As a side note, these are the same uniforms that the Cardinals wore during the week this past week when they lost 8-5 over in Lexington. So you think you'd want to get rid of these for a while?
Well, you'd think, but I think maybe Adam Wolf said, hey, I like the look of those. I'd like to wear them once. There's the slider right there. A little bit change in speed, and it's got a little bit more depth to it than next time he throws a fastball. If you'll watch, it's tough to see from right here, but right there at the end as it's crossing the plate, it'll cut to the left. Just like that one did right there.
So Piedmont gets ahead 1-2.
They've got a sharp looking new logo right there on the sleeve. Now I say new, but I guess it's the old logo actually. It's a pretty cool looking decal they've got right there. We never got to wear that while I was here.
Good piece of hitting right there off the bat of Fitzgerald's going to move the runner up to second base. Romaro, 2 on with 1 out.
Well, right there is exactly what I was talking about. Piedmont throws that heater away. It's got a little bit of cut to it, but Fitzgerald does a great job staying in his legs, and he doesn't do too much with it. He just throws his hands at it, gets the barrel to the ball, and good things happen. That's all you need to do in this game.
So Fitzgerald is aboard. Romaro out at second base. And a chance here for Jake Snyder with 2 on, 1 out. Snyder bounced out to the shortstop his first time. This guy has a nice on-base average this year. Snyder, 433. Second on the team in walks with 27.
Now, if I'm Snyder right here, and I know that Piedmont's fastball has a little bit cut to it, I'm doing one of two things. I'm either backing off the plate just a little bit, or I'm going to say, you know what, I'm not swinging at the inside pitch, because anything that starts inside is going to end up behind him, and even something that starts out over the middle of the plate could end up inside. So I'm trying to shift my approach, back off the plate a little bit, and just lock down the outside fastball, something that I can drive the other way, try to get Romaro in from second. You see right there, Snyder wanted it, but then right there at the last second, that ball broke in.
So when you're talking about a shift, you're talking about a subtle shift, so maybe the catcher doesn't even really notice it, so all of a sudden they start working you outside.
Right, that's right. It's just something, just enough to make a slight difference in the angle of that fastball. I think Piedmont knows that. I think the NC State coaching staff, they all know that Jake Snyder likes to pull the baseball. So they're going to try and expose that best they can. And a cutter in on his hands would do just that. But credit Snyder by laying off these fastballs so far.
He draws his 28th walk of the year. 2 walks in the inning by Piedmont, and now Louisville has the bases loaded with 1 out in the bottom of the 3rd.
Yeah, that's a huge walk right there by Snyder. It's exactly what the Cardinals needed. Now, what they've struggled with most of the year is that timely hitting, and this is a great, if you will, time for a hit. Really, anything that they can do to just move the baseball towards the outfield would be huge.
Scott Foxhall is the pitching coach of the Wolfpack. He pays a 3rd inning visit to the mound. A couple of other big series around the ACC tonight. We mentioned NC State leads Clemson by 1 game in the Atlantic Division. Clemson playing at Notre Dame this weekend. Wake Forest is 3rd at 7-5. They're at home against Duke, who leads the Coastal Division. In fact, they have the best record over there at 9-3, and the best record in the ACC at 26-5. And Wake Forest, the team that Louisville is tied with for 4th place. Wake Forest this weekend, we mentioned, at home against Duke. Florida State is playing at Georgia Tech.
You know, Duke, not a program that really has always been known for their baseball. But here recently, in the past couple of years, they've done a really great job at building that program up.
Here's Devin Mann with the bases loaded, 1 out.
Great pitch right there by Piedmont. This is where staying down in the zone is really going to make or break this situation. If he could get Mann to ground into a double play, that'd be huge for the Wolfpack.
Mann leads this Louisville team with 27 RBIs.
Slider just about got away from him right there.
And .667 average so far this year with the bases loaded. Did he go? He did on the appeal. Douglas Vines is the first base umpire.
That's a tough one. I didn't think that the barrel got out, but I don't have the final say.
Piedmont trying to handle Mann with Wyatt on deck. Wanted to chase again there. This time Mann laid off.
Yeah, Piedmont's struggling to locate with that fastball because of the cut. It can be effective if you can control it and put that ball where you want, but if you're not finding the zone, that cut just really is a hindrance.
His pitch is, Jeff, just out of the strike zone. Mann doing a good job to lay off.
Yeah, he's doing a great job right here. A walk is as good as a hit in this situation. I think a mature hitter like Mann recognizes that. He's not trying to do anything to jeopardize the RBI situation.
Trying to get out of the way. That ball hit bat and is a foul ball. That's a break right there for the Wolfpack.
Yeah, I think that was a defensive swing right there by Mann. We look right here. This ball gets away from Piedmont, up and in, and I don't think Mann wanted to swing at that. He felt like he kind of had to, and I've been there.
Kind of corkscrewed himself right into the ground.
Yeah, he did.
We've got another look now at a 3-2 pitch with the bases loaded. Past Eric Snyder down there, the third base coach. No room for error here for Johnny Piedmont. Man stays alive.
Yeah, great job by Man fighting these pitches off. As you see right there, 9th pitch of this at bat. And anytime you can get up over 9 or 10 pitches, that's what we call a quality at bat. No matter how it turns out. Obviously, Man wants to win this right here for his team.
Now a 10-pitch AB, particularly when you're talking about in an ideal situation, 13 to 16 pitches in an inning, and he's used 10 already in one batter.
Well, that's great not only for himself but for the team, because he's making Piedmont work right here. He's tiring him and wearing him down. It's going to help the Cardinals get into the bullpen.
Piedmont gets him on strikes. Strikeout number 1 for the big right-hander is the second out of the inning.
Well, we talked about before the game, Piedmont's not a strikeout guy. He's a pitch to contact, but he certainly got himself a strikeout in a big-time situation right here.
Yeah, if there's ever a situation that he wanted a K, that was it.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a great time for it. Now he's got 2 outs. He can take a little bit of a breath, lock in, and try to focus on the hot-hitting Wyatt.
Infield shift big time. 3 infielders on the right side. As Bailey makes a nice stop on that ball, down and in.
Well, this would be a great time to put on the shift with a guy like Wyatt. He's 2 for 2 with the bases loaded so far on the year, but if you're Piedmont and you've got a little bit of a cut to your fastball, you may be able to get in on the hands of Wyatt, get him to roll over something.
Yep.
Piedmont's walked 2 in this inning. Got the big strikeout of Devin Mann, and now works on Wyatt. Another Bailey block keeps that ball in front. Wyatt has an over 500 on base percentage this year. That's the best in the ACC. Trying to put his homestanding Cardinals in front here in the bottom of the 3rd.
That's what I'm talking about right there with that fastball. Piedmont elevates it just a little bit, but that late action, that late cut to it gets in on the hands of Wyatt. It's something that I think Wyatt originally saw that pitch over the middle of the plate, but then right as he's going to swing realizes it was a bad decision.
Piedmont here looking to pitch himself into, then out of trouble. Walk the leadoff man Romero. Give up a 1-out single to right. Nice piece of hitting by Fitzgerald. Then he walks Snyder. Load him up with 1 out. Battled against Devin Mann. Got the strikeout. Now he's at 2-2 to Logan Wyatt. See the pitch count at 44. Ripped to right. Grand slam and a 4-0 Louisville lead here in the bottom of the 3rd. Logan Wyatt sits on a 2-2 pitch. Second home run of the year. 4-0 Cardinals.
That's a great piece of hitting right there by Wyatt. And that's what, calling these games, Jim, that's what I've been waiting to see this big lefty do all year long. And he finally does it. There was no doubt about that ball. As soon as it left the bat, it was leaving the yard. And great piece of hitting right there by Wyatt. He's got these Cardinal fans fired up. He's got his teammates fired up. And that's a lot of momentum right there for the Cardinals.
2 walks definitely hurt Piedmont in the inning.
Here you see it. Great piece of hitting. He knew it too. Showboats just a little bit. Really crushes that ball. Great job by the hometown kid.
Home run number 2. RBIs now at 29. Wyatt takes over the team lead in that department. Piedmont gives up his 3rd home run of the season.
That ball just barely missed. It was a great slider right there by Piedmont.
For the Cardinals, their 2nd grand slam of the season. Devin Mann had one earlier, and now Logan Wyatt here.
That might be exactly what the Cardinals needed to supercharge the offense. Sometimes a big hit like that can end up paying off big dividends throughout the rest of the season.
There's a 4-pitch walk here to Stowers, so 3 walks in the inning by Piedmont. 37 pitches of the 51 thrown so far have come in this inning by Piedmont. I mean, he was cruising through the first 2.
He really was, and part of it was with the Cardinals' help. I mean, they were swinging at the first pitch. Seemed like both innings, both the first and second inning, the leadoff guy and the second batter were out after the first pitch of the at-bat.
With the runner on the move, a fly ball to center ends the inning, but a grand slam by Logan Wyatt, and Louisville has taken a 4-0 lead through 3. Here come the Wolfpack now in the 4th. Ironic in that North Carolina State leads the ACC in home runs hit and fewest given up. And it's the long ball that burns the Wolfpack here early.
That's baseball. No matter how you look at the numbers, you never know what's going to happen on any given night.
So now a lead with which to work for Adam Wolf. He's walked no one. He's fanned 3. 54 pitches through 3 innings for the junior. This is the inning that he wants to capitalize. This is like breaking serve and then holding your own. You got the lead. Now you go down and shut them down that next inning.
Yeah, absolutely. This would be a huge inning for Wolf to get a quick 3 outs, not only for himself but for the momentum the Cardinals could take into the into the 4th. Plus that Wolf's pitch count up just a little higher than I think he'd like it to be right now in this situation.
High into left for Snyder. And that's the first out here in the 4th. The batter will be Will Wilson. Wilson, the starting second baseman a year ago, shortstop this year. ACC all-freshman season a year ago when he hit 300 with 8 home runs. Even better this year, 324 with 7 right now. In a very, very good freshman year. Wilson, in fact, had reached base in 40 consecutive games dating back to last year until the first game of that series last weekend down at Virginia Tech, when he did not reach base on either a hit, a walk, or a hit by a pitch, thus ending his 40-game on-base streak.
Yeah, Wilson's been a staple to NC State's success, and he's done a great job this year, as you can see right there. 321 with 7 homers.
Still in all this year, he missed 1 game, but he has been on base in 26 of the 27 games in which he has played. Out on strike. Second time that Wilson is fanned.
Wolf continuing to do a great job right there with that cutter.
He talked about it would be great if he could have, Jeff, a quick and easy inning. He's thrown 10 pitches and has 2 outs. Deals now with Evan Edwards. Fly ball to left his first time. High in the air to Stowers in center. There's your 1, 2, 3, 4th by Adam Wolf. And Logan Wyatt grand slam has given Louisville a 4-0 lead, bottom of the 4th inning. Let's take a look at the pitch count, Jeff, of Johnny Piedmont, what he has done so far.
Yeah, Louisville did a great job there in the 3rd of really making him work. As you can see, just 7 pitches in the 1st inning, only 5 in the 2nd, and then there's quite a big jump right there in the 3rd. 38 pitches, and that just shows you if you can make the pitcher work just a little bit, good things will happen. But if you can get a guy throwing close to 40 pitches in 1 inning, chances are you're doing some damage.
Louisville sent 8 to the plate in that 4-run 3rd. And really what did Piedmont in was the free passes.
Yeah, it really was. And even just like that, hit batters and walks will kill a team.
Piedmont has won 2 in a row, and he's pitched very well. Wolf has lost 2 in a row. Tonight it's going Louisville's way as that breaking ball catches Oriente on the hip. He's aboard.
Yeah, that slider gets away from him. Gets Oriente and gives him just his 2nd hit batter on the season.
Romero led off that 4-run 3rd with a walk. He bats here in the 4th.
That heater gets away from him right there. Almost gets 2 HBPs in a row. Piedmont starting to see him struggle a little bit. Looks like that body language is changing just a tad. Might not be quite as sure of himself as he was earlier on this game.
Now we're going to get some action down in the Wolfpack bullpen. A hit and run, a swing and a miss, and a throw out at second base of Oriente. Romero chased that low and outside, trying to protect his runner Oriente, but he didn't make contact. End result of that is a 2-4 caught stealing.
Well, Romero did his best right here, and that's a tough pitch to try and make contact with. Just kind of tough luck on the hit and run right there, and maybe NC State was thinking about it and may have thrown the a pitch out right there, but even that play at second base was a little close. Let's take another look. No doubt the ball beat him, but I think the tag
looked like the tag went on the right knee, and it was very close as to whether the tag was there or that left foot got on the base.
Yeah, it really was. They didn't want to replay it, so I guess Oriente felt like he was out there.
Cut off by the third baseman, Cooper. And there are 2 out.
Now batting for the third baseman, number 16.
Right-hander down in the bullpen is Matsu Gochi out of Quebec, Canada for NC State. The left-hander is Evan Justice. Justice on your left, Gochi on your right.
Here's that slider from Piedmont. It's a great pitch when he throws it right and he controls it.
So Levy bats with 2 out.
Smart way to go at a guy like Levy too. Levy loves to ambush the fastball anytime he gets the opportunity.
David Savage calling the balls and strikes, and there were some folks who did not agree with that strike call.
Yeah, they were a little upset about that one, but that was close.
Over the outstretched glove of Patera and into right center field, and a base hit there for Justin Levy.
It's a great piece of hitting by Levy right there. Gets that fastball, starts out over the plate, starts to fade off of it just a little bit. He goes with it, gets a little bit of lean over the plate, and he's able to get that barrel out to the ball. Great piece of hitting by Levy.
Levy 1 for 2. That gives him a hitting streak now of 4 games. He's on with 2 out. Top of the order featuring Tyler Fitzgerald. Levy 3 for 4 in stolen bases on a team, Louisville, that came in tied for first in the ACC with 52 thefts. Interesting bunting with 2 out. You bunt there, you're taking a look at the third baseman to figure out where he is playing and figuring you can get the bunt down.
Yeah, definitely, because it's not something where you're just laying it down to move the runner, obviously, with 2 outs. It's one where you take a look back, maybe see third baseman playing back a little bit, and then drop it down. Still 2 outs. I say swing away.
Pitch was a little bit low and outside. Big breakdown at first base by Levy, but an excellent throw by Patrick Bailey to cut down Levy at second base. PC scoreboard, Virginia Tech and Virginia playing a doubleheader today. First game went to Virginia, a 9-0 final in that one. Florida State leading at Georgia Tech. Wake Forest in the 4th early, leading Duke 4-0. Wake Forest team that's 5-7, tied with Louisville for 4th in the Atlantic, leading that Duke team that is 9-3 with the best conference record along with NC State so far in the ACC. Quick look at the ACC scoreboard on this Friday night, April the 6th.
It's hard to believe that it's already April. Seems the season has flown by, as it tends to do.
I mentioned we're about halfway through the college baseball season. Conference tournament week, last week of May, right near the last week of May, and then after that, regionals, super regionals, the College World Series in Omaha. In the air by Bailey towards center. Stowers has it for out number 1.
The college baseball season can fly by, but the professional baseball season never seems to fly by until the last day of the season. Maybe you look back and think, man, that was gone pretty quick. But I don't think there's any point during it when you feel like it's gone by quickly at all.
Well, it's a different animal, the professional game, that's for certain.
That's for sure.
Particularly in affiliated baseball, where it's more about development than it is really about winning. Fans sometimes have a hard time grasping that concept.
Yeah, they really do. And what I think most fans don't realize is at any game below the AA level, when you go to that game, what you don't realize is those players have practiced for about 2 hours before that game, between different sorts of defensive fundamental work and then batting practice. Plus, depending on whether there's coordinators in town, you may have early work and stuff like that. So
cage work before you go out to the field.
Yeah, absolutely.
Flips, tosses, all that good stuff. Infield.
Absolutely. A batter may take 4 swings the entire game, but they've taken 100 leading up to it.
Not to take anything away from what these guys do, because they hit every day here at the college level as well.
Absolutely, absolutely, and that's where really what you don't see is where it's somewhat levels off is, you know, these guys are still practicing every day, except for generally, you know, you get one off day a week in the college level. But
Wolf came in having walked 15 in 40 innings this year. He walks his first here with 1 out in the 5th.
That's what I love about Adam Wolf, is that guy just always lives around the zone, goes right at dudes. Great job by Romero right there. This battery right here is proved to be very successful for the Cardinals so far this year.
Ran 2 on the year with a 2.68 ERA. Coming off back-to-back losses in conference games for this junior left-hander. Trying to qualify himself for the win if he can get through this 5th. The left-hander Evan Justice is the lone relief pitcher throwing in the NC State bullpen now. Deathridge a strikeout victim his first time. Deathridge brings a 6-game hitting streak into this one. Also a guy drafted after last year, his junior year, by Pittsburgh. Wolfpack club did go to the NCAAs last year. They finished 16 and 14 in conference play, 1-1 in the ACC tournament right here in Louisville. Dandy bender right there. That one freezes Deathridge and sends him back to the dugout.
Great pitch by Wolf. Great use of that slider right there. It may have been the cutter, I'm not exactly sure, but great job by Wolf. And as you can see right here tonight, 4 2/3, just 2 hits, only 1 walk, but 5 Ks. I mean, this guy, he's been given quality starts all year long, and tonight's no different. As I mentioned before, he had a little bit of a hiccup last weekend at Florida State, only making it 2 1/3, giving up 8 hits. Excuse me, in 5 earned runs. But he's done a great job battling back, and that's the thing about baseball. You may get knocked down once, but it's all about getting ready for the next start if you're a pitcher, or the next at bat if you're a hitter. It's a changeup right there from Wolf.
Yeah, you have to have a short memory.
You really do, and it's something I tell kids all the time when I give lessons. Some of the best guys in baseball I ever played with, for lack of a better word, were idiots. Because they just didn't seem to let little things bother them. They were able to show up to the field every day, and yesterday was over, and ready to prepare for the 7 o'clock show.
It's a worn out statement, but it is so tried and true that you're going to fail 7 out of 10 times when you bat in baseball, and if you do that, you're going to be considered a very, very good player.
Yeah, that's very true. You know, 7 out of 10. If you can fail only 7 out of 10 times, it'll make you a hero in this game. You'll be able to play it for a long time. I think it's the only sport where you can have that sort of average to success and be considered a good player.
He ties up Vasquez in on him, gets strikeout number 6, and his 5th 0 in this game. Here's Louisville against the top 25 so far this year. They won 2 out of 3 in that series here against the Tar Heels. Split the 2 games against Texas Tech, then lost the series against Clemson here and at Florida State. Lost the game this past week against Kentucky down there. And here's what they have left, including, well, not including this series, which is number 4, NC State. You've got Kentucky here on April the 17th. At Vanderbilt, a non-conference game on the 1st of May, and then another non-conference game, Indiana, in the middle of May. So all those games non-conference, so this would mark the final right now series of ACC play against a ranked team. Of course, that could change from week to week.
Well, absolutely. The ACC, you never know who's going to be in the top 25 from one week to the next. It's the thing about Louisville, where they're at, you know, even in their midweek games, they're playing against good talent.
New pitcher, meanwhile, on the hill for NC State. This is the lefty, Evan Justice.
Yeah, Justice in just 11 1/3 innings so far in this year. All these innings coming out of the bullpen, except for one. He made 1 start. Just 7 walks and in those 11 innings, 11 1/3, excuse me, 14 strikeouts. It's always nice if you can have a lefty to come out of the bullpen.
Freshman out of Richmond, Virginia, appeared once last weekend in their series down at Virginia Tech in Blacksburg. He comes on in relief of Johnny Piedmont. I mentioned Piedmont had won his last 2 starts, allowing just 1 run in his last 13 innings, but his final line tonight reads 4 innings, 4 hits, 4 runs earned, 3 walks, a strikeout, a wild pitch, a home run, which was the grand slam. A hit batsman, cannot win, can only be the loser in this game.
Well, as it goes for so many guys, it's one bad inning. One bad inning where you allow a team to put up a crooked number on you, and it's tough to come back from that. That's what we saw with Piedmont. Did a great job early on in the game. His first 2 innings, just 12 pitches, and then giving up 38 pitches there in the 3rd. It makes it real tough to have success. And really, you know, he got himself into a jam, but he battled out of it to an extent before giving up the grand slam to Wyatt. Justice, kind of a funky looking delivery right there. This kid, he's working quick. He's working quick on the line and, excuse me, on the mound. And you see, he sort of pauses right there at the top before he delivers the pitch. Sometimes that'll throw your timing off if you're a hitter. You're sitting there trying to get a good rhythm and feel out how you've got to get ready for the pitch.
Fitzgerald may have actually helped him there on that 3-2.
Yeah, I think so.
This guy Justice was the state of Virginia's player of the year last year as a senior at collegiate high school. Handled down there at first by Edwards. And a good start for Justice here in the 5th. A ground out to start the inning. Here's Jake Snyder. One of the 3 walks issued in the 3rd by Piedmont. He was aboard on the grand slam by Wyatt.
It's a good pitch by Justice, just barely missing off the plate. It's another guy who, as he throws, as we said, Piedmont had a little bit of cut to his ball. Justice has more of what we would call run. So when he lets go of that baseball, it's going to leave his hand and run back over the plate towards Snyder. As you can see right there, he ran that fastball in on the hands of Snyder.
He's a tall, thin left-hander, 6'4", 170. Check swing. He went around, and Bailey will complete the strikeout. Throw to first base.
I think he got him on the slider right there, which can be so tough left on left. That's what makes a left-handed pitcher so effective against lefty hitters. It's because all it takes is a good slider that can really throw off your balance and make you question whether to swing and kind of take a half swing just like Snyder did there. Here you can see Justice's delivery right there as he separates his hands. He pauses just a little bit. That little bit of a lag right there will do big at throwing off your timing.
Cardinals go down in order, and we are through 5 on this Friday night in Louisville. Sixth inning now. Dylan Cooper will lead things off for the Wolfpack. Third baseman tried to bunt his way on and popped it up to the first baseman Wyatt back in the third. That was right after Vasquez had led off the inning with a base hit. It's 9-1-2 here in the visitors' sixth inning. Sophomore Cooper had limited playing time last year as he hits that one on the line, and it's caught out there at second by Devin Mann. Cooper only a dozen at bats a year ago. Everyday third baseman this year for Elliott Avent's club. He's out to start the sixth. Top of the order now, and Josh McClain. Wolfpack has not had a runner get as far as second base so far in this one against Adam Wolf. 1-3-6 caught stealing in the third of Vasquez is the only runner who has even tried to get as far as second. So he is dominant in this one thus far.
Yeah, he's done a great job of taming the Wolfpack, if you will. Starting to get that pitch count up. Might start to see a little bit of movement down in the Cardinal bullpen. Nothing yet, but not sure how far they're really going to let him go past 100 pitches. But if they could stretch him out, get another 2 innings out of him, that'd be huge. If they get Wolf through the 7th, it'd really give the Cardinals a chance late in the game.
He works with one out here, and on that 2-2 pitch, he came up and in and hits McClain, who is on with one out.
It looks like that fastball got away from him, and I know he'd love to have that back. He was working pretty quickly through this inning, but tries to go inside with the heater. Let's go just a little too high. And luckily, McClain's able to tuck that shoulder in, just wear it off the shoulder, and not in the teeth.
Yeah, that was on the back side of the left shoulder is where that ball ultimately hit him. He rolled into it.
Mm-hmm.
Here's Brett Kinnaman with one on and one out. Leads the ACC with those dozen home runs. 2 times this year he's been the player of the week in the ACC. Late February and then again in early March, back-to-back weeks. Had a stretch there in late February, early March where he homered in 4 consecutive games.
Yeah, Kinnaman's had a hot bat for the Wolfpack all season, and He's done a great job at leading this lineup. Just having a stellar year. Anytime you can have 12 homers midway through the year, you're doing all right.
Well, they've hit 44. But it's been the home run ball against them that has them trailing so far here tonight.
You know, when we looked at the comparisons before this game started, really, if you look at what NC State's done, 44 homers as a team, and I think Louisville was at 16, now it's 17. It's amazing, that kind of difference in the offense. But it shows you that when the offense is producing, ultimately you're going to end up winning games. You know, I think if you look at those numbers, Louisville had a lot more homers last year with guys like Drew Ellis and Brendan McKay both hitting, I believe, over 20 homers, really kind of carrying the team. And that's something that this Cardinal lineup really doesn't have this year. And I think they've struggled in conference play, but there's a lot of young guys running out of the bullpen. There's a lot of young guys in the lineup here and doing the best they can, getting a lot of good experience that hopefully will pay off here in the next year or two.
There's one. There's two. That's an inning-ending 4-6-3 double play hit into by Kinnaman. Well, the only scoring in this game came in the bottom of the third on a grand slam by the man who will lead things off here in the bottom of the sixth, Logan Wyatt.
Wyatt did a great job, obviously getting the Cards on the board with the old grand slam to right field, but really he's been carrying this this lineup here for a while. Here's another look at that homer. He got all of that and he knew it. That ball was obliterated, hit out there near the railroad tracks in right, showing off the pop.
Second career home run for Logan Wyatt.
Yeah, I think I talked about it last in the Clemson series that you'd expect more homers out of a guy like Wyatt, but sometimes it just takes finding that rhythm. You know, a lot of guys, if you look back at the careers of Brendan McKay, I mean, his first 2 years here at Louisville, he wasn't putting up 20 homers a year, but then his junior year, he did just that.
Well, he's got the home run build, 6'4", 230, and as he progresses through his baseball career, not only here, but certainly then in the professional ranks, he'll probably hit more home runs.
Yeah, I think so. As he starts to really figure out his swing a little bit more and just find ways to consistently get the barrel on the ball. That's the thing. Guys like him with his size, the key is just getting the barrel on the ball.
Hits it right into the teeth of the shift and on into right field. And a leadoff base hit here in the sixth for Wyatt means he's 2 for 3 in this game. And that grand slam gave him a 26-game on-base streak. He continues it here with a base hit.
Yeah, this is another great piece of hitting. I mean, that ball was obliterated. Hits it right through the shift. And it's amazing when you're seeing the ball well and you're putting good swings on it. Even with the shift, the ball seems to find a hole. And great job by Wyatt right there.
Team leading 13th multi-hit game of the year for Logan Wyatt. Stowers, who has been the leadoff man in 26 of the 29 Louisville games this year. The only 2 that he did not was the final game against Wake Forest and then a non-conference game against Western Kentucky. He hits the ball hard for the second time tonight. This one finds its way to the outfield. The Cardinals got their first 2 on here in the home sixth.
Yeah, great swing by Stowers right there. And he just looks more comfortable. I don't know if it's getting him, Coach Mack getting him out of the leadoff position or what, but that's the short swing that we've been looking for all season from Stowers. You know, early on in the year, swing was getting a little bit big, wasn't real sure where the barrel was, and that was not the case on that swing. Or if we look back to his first at bat in the second, I mean, he crushed the ball to the center fielder and lined out. But that's the Josh Stowers that I recognize, and that's the Josh Stowers that I think this Cardinal team needs.
Trying to bunt the runners along, but he bunted it to the wrong spot. Fielded by the pitcher Justice. He'll give it to Cooper. And the Wolfpack get the force out on Wyatt at third base. That was really almost a protective bunt by Campbell.
Yeah, that ball ran right into his hands, right into Campbell's hands, and I certainly don't think he meant to bunt it there. He just had really no other choice. He'd have been better off if he could have pulled back and just warned that pitch, honestly.
So now it's first and second with one out. Andy Oriente, the DH, with the Wolfpack looking for an inning-ending double play. Cardinals turned one in the top of this inning. Wolfpack trying to do the same here in the bottom half. Off the glove of Bailey. That'll get the runners to move up.
Yeah, that right there is where the bunt would have come in handy. Get you a run instead of just moving those runners over. But, you know, it worked out, and they've still got two runners in scoring position with an opportunity here to knock in a run. You can see right there, Louisville 1 for 4 with runners in scoring position. And NC State, as you mentioned earlier, Jim, is yet to get guys in scoring position.
Pitcher catcher talk things over here. Mentioned Piedmont, the starter, 4 runs, 4 hits, 4 innings. Justice came on to start the 5th. He had a 1-2-3 inning. He's been part of a very, very good Wolfpack bullpen this year. As you see action now again down in their bullpen. Matthew Gochi is up and throwing once again, the right-hander. They came into this game, the Wolfpack, with a bullpen ERA of 2.10. Now Elliot Avent, the head coach, makes a slow stroll to the mound. The 1-ball, no-strike count on Oriente. He is probably going to see the right-hander Gochi enter this game. Knowing that, David Savage, the home plate umpire, makes his way out to the mound. Gochi ready out there in the bullpen down the left field line. And they signal to the bullpen, and so the Wolfpack will make a pitching change. Back with more from Patterson Stadium in Louisville, Kentucky in a moment. On second of this inning, third of the game for the Wolfpack is a right-hander, Matsu Gochi.
Yeah, Gochi, as you see right there, in 24 2/3, only 8 walks. I mean, this is a guy that NC State likes to run out of the pen and have him go right at the opposing lineup. 20 strikeouts. I mean, these are really good numbers. If you look at it, he's given up about a hit an inning. So he's really your typical, what we would call in the baseball world, a strike thrower. Is that he's going to live right around the zone, attack guys with, I'm assuming, probably the fastball. Just kind of runs it out there and says, if you can hit it, let's see.
He's been a long relief man for them his last 2 times out. 5 innings his last time against Virginia Tech, 4 1/3 out of the bullpen against Georgia Tech 2 appearances ago. So he could very well be in there for a couple of innings or more.
Yeah, he really could. No telling.
Gochi 6'1", 160. We mentioned he's from Canada, Quebec. First French-Canadian player to ever play at NC State in baseball. He takes over for Evan Justice, who went an inning and a third. A couple of hits allowed, a strikeout. Gochi inherits the 1-0 count, meaning anything that happens with the batter Oriente belongs to him.
I've played with a couple Canadians, and they all seem to be pitchers. They talk a little funny, but they throw strikes. They get outs.
They get outs, that's for sure. That's one of the most celebrated Canadians, if not the most celebrated Canadian baseball player. Plays up the road from here about an hour and a half. That'd be Joey Votto.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a lot of talent come out of there.
Larry Walker, another one, exceptional talent out of Canada.
If you think about it, you know, if you can withstand the cold, it'd be a pretty cool place to grow up, playing hockey in the winter and then playing baseball in the summer.
Well, they love their baseball in Toronto. They'd love to get a team back in Montreal. They've had an exhibition series up there for, what, the last 4 or 5 years at the old Olympic Stadium where the Expos used to call home. They used to have AAA teams scattered around Canada, Vancouver, Ottawa, among others.
I consider myself somewhat of an Expo. I was in the Nationals organization.
Nationals organization, although they've been gone now for double-digit years.
That's right. That's right.
They had some very good teams up there in Montreal, although they never were able to win a playoff series. Toronto, of course, the back-to-back World Series titles in the early 90s, and they have a very good team again this year.
Didn't they, for a stint, play their home games out of Puerto Rico?
Well, Montreal, in the latter stages of their existence in the early 2000s, played some games away from Montreal. Toward the middle, dive by Patera. He can't get it. 1 run is in. 2nd run will come home. Danny Oriente with a 2-run single scores Stowers and Campbell, and it is 6-0 Cardinals here in the bottom of the 6th.
Great piece of hitting by Oriente right here. Gets the heater, gets in on his hands just a little bit. He's able to fist it up the middle. Great job right there. He's able to 2 runs right there, and the Cards are up 6-0 here in the bottom of the 6th.
Those runs are charged to Evan Justice. Oriente picks up a couple of runs batted in, numbers 9 and 10 for him on the year. Sonny Campbell could not get the bunt down to move the runners along, but the wild pitch by Justice is able to get him into scoring position, and Oriente brings them home.
That's the timely hitting that the Cardinals have been missing for the past couple weeks. It's exactly what they've needed right there.
And now 7 hits to go along with their 6 runs in this game. Well, the first game of these weekend series in conference play are always so huge, aren't they?
They really are. You want to get out to a good start, try to take advantage of each game, obviously, but if you can get the first one, you get a little bit of momentum and you can breathe easier knowing you just need to win one of the next 2 to win the series.
Yeah, you can't sweep the series if you don't win the first
that's
one.
right. That's right.
This game far from over. We talked about NC State and their streak of series wins in conference play. It dates all the way back to April 23rd, 22nd and 23rd of a year ago when they were swept in a 3-game series at Boston College. Since then, 7 series played, 7 series won. Strike 3 call.
That's a close one right there to Romero. Looked like it was down, but with 2 strikes, I mean, you've got to be ready to protect. I don't think he liked it, but he's got to remember that his job right now is to go out there and keep Wolf in check. And let's take another look at this pitch. Heater low and away. I think that's just a great pitch right there. May have missed off just a touch, but overall, it's great placement by Goatee.
Second out of the inning brings Justin Levy to the plate. All-time series between these 2 teams stands at 8-2 Louisville. Cardinals swept a 3-gamer here 2 years ago, 2016, against the Wolfpack. That's the series we talked about earlier that head coach Elliot Avent was not here due to the snake bite, which forced him to stay away from his club. Last year, Louisville won 2 of 3 over there. There's what we're talking about from a graphical standpoint. Coach McDonald having a long conversation over there in the dugout with Josh Stowers. He stood there and was talking with him after he scored, and it's still going on now.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that's about, but he didn't look mad, so that's that's a good sign.
Passing along some pearls of wisdom, as it were.
Probably. You know what's funny about baseball is I'm sure every sport has it, but the conversations that you might get into during a baseball game, there's no telling what they may be. Especially if you ever want, I think if you ever wanted some true entertainment, they should put a camera crew with a bullpen.
Well, then you probably wouldn't get what you were really looking for.
That's true. That's true.
4 in the 3rd, grand slam by Wyatt. 2 in the 6th, 2-run single by Danny Oriente, and a 6-0 Cardinal lead through 6 here at Jim Patterson Stadium. First game of this weekend 3-game series between these ranked teams, NC State and Louisville. Adam Wolf will go back to the mound for his 7th inning. He's right at 98 pitches. There's a new catcher in there. Is there? No, there is not. I think what the home plate umpire was marking there. He had his roster sheet out as if he was making a change.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure. Great pitch right there by Wolf. And as you mentioned, closing in on 100 pitches now. Be interesting to see how far they let him go, but he's done a great job. We're midway through the season here, so if there's ever a time to stretch him out, it's now.
And look at a second pitch fly ball to deep right, and losing that ball in the twilight was Campbell. That's going to result in Wilson ending up at third base, and that's the first Wolfpack runner to get past first base in this game, and that is a ball that you just simply do not want hit to you at this time of night.
No, you really don't. This ball goes up. This time of night, it disappears, and as you can see, Campbell kind of unsure, picks it up, and then I don't think he realized just how far that ball was going to be pushed. I mean, it was hit well off the bat, but once it went up, it got caught in that jet stream, and it really pushed it out to right field. I mean, he almost had himself an Oppo Taco right there, but at least Campbell was able to get it in, get to the ball, get it in before too much damage was done.
It almost looked like Campbell had it, lost it at the last moment, picked it up, but too late.
Yeah, I think so. I think he, like I said, I don't think he realized how far the ball was going to get pushed back, and that's just a tough play right there.
They're going to charge Campbell with an error on that play. Not positive he touched that ball. And if I'm Will Wilson, I'm upset about that. To the shortstop, and Fitzgerald will handle this ball for the first out. If I'm Will Wilson, I'm thinking I deserve a triple on that.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
the right fielder didn't touch the ball.
Absolutely, and I think that one will probably get talked about post-game about getting changed to a hit.
Right now, they rule that as a 3-base error on the right fielder, Campbell.
Yeah, that's one of those that I'm not sure if I really recall it happening at the college level, but the professional level, you'd see it all the time. A ball would get charged. Somebody would hit one like that, and it would get charged with an error, and next thing you know, the scorekeeper was getting called into the manager's office. And anytime anybody goes into the manager's office, it's typically not a good thing, but they'd be able to straighten it out and get the player the hit they deserved.
Well, in Major League Baseball, they have done a nice job of straightening out the way that works. For instance, Wilson there, if this was a Major League game, would go to his agent. His agent would contact Major League Baseball. Major League Baseball would then review the play, talk with the official scorer of the game, and within 24 hours make a call as to yay or nay. It's going to stay or it's going to change. It used to be, as you said, somebody from the dugout may all of a sudden call upstairs to the press box and start complaining about it. They took all that out of their hands, and now it goes agent, Major League Baseball, official scorer afterwards, and then it's decided.
That's interesting. I was unaware of that.
Patrick Bailey, the freshman catcher, 0 for 2 tonight. That's a 5-pitch walk, so 2 of the first 3 have reached against Wolf here in the 7th inning. His second walk.
Yeah, Wolf scuffling just a little bit. Take a look down. Louisville's starting to get some arms loose in the pen, and that's to no surprise. I mean, Wolf at 107 pitches right here. Obviously more strikes than balls, which is great. If he can get out of this inning, I think this that would be it. This might be his last batter too, depending on how quickly those arms get hot down there in the bullpen.
A pinch runner, Devontae Brown, is going to take over at first base for Patrick Bailey. So NC State will also have a new catcher come the bottom of the 7th. Devontae Brown takes over as a pinch runner at first.
Pitch running for NC State at first base, number 3, Devontae Brown.
There's Steven Patera, who's been on twice. There's that nice breaking ball going there.
Yeah, Wolf's pitches, he's still got him going for him. He's continued to do a great job of staying around the zone. Just had the walk a second ago, but
saw the lefty Elliott, the righty Schmitty, who has started this year on occasion. Wolf trying to go out with a bang here. He gets ahead, no balls, 2 strikes. Get him talking about Wolf. If you're Louisville through this inning, you're looking at 1 inning in between before you make your big move to the closer on this club, the Cardinals. That, of course, would be Sam Bordner.
Bordner's done a great job for the Cardinals of coming out of that pen late in the game and putting the nails in the coffin. But if they can get Wolf through 7, as you mentioned, gives them just 1 inning before having to go to Bordner, really saves the bullpen.
Double play ball. There's 1. Will they get them both? They do. A 6-4-3 inning-ending double play for the 2nd inning in a row. Bottom of the 7th inning, or so we think. They were under review for that double play. We saw Elliott Avent come out. There has been a review called for, and it might be out at second base, thinking the Cardinals did not stay on the bag out at second on the force play. See if we can get another look at it here.
Now here's the flip. Well, no.
Well, Fitzgerald gave it to Mann.
So it looks like it's going to be whether or not Mann actually stays on the bag. Here's his foot on the bag. There's the flip. I think, that's close.
Now, if that is the replay, and I'm pretty sure it is, if that's the replay they're looking at, I don't know how in the world you could overrule on that. That is not clear and concise that he was off the bag.
No, it's really not, and it's kind of a cheap play, honestly. I mean, it's a double play in my book. I guess obviously by technicality, whether or not somebody's on the bag in a situation like that, I mean, it gets tricky, but we'll see what they say right here.
They call him out at second base. And again, there's just not enough clear and concise evidence that they could overturn that. Now, maybe he was off the bag, but there wasn't enough video proof of it.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't clear. And in a situation like that, I think for that to be called, it has to be extremely clear that that person was off the base, because the problem there is with the momentum that you get making that play.
And how about the numbers and the line for Adam Wolf tonight? 111 pitches of 7-inning, no-run, 2-hit baseballs. Quite a comeback. We mentioned he had lost 2 starts in a row, the first 2 of his career. What a performance tonight.
Well, he did a great job tonight. 7 innings pitched, and it looks like he's got that sleeve on. He's taking a he's sitting down, getting a drink of water. I'm wondering if they're going to try and stretch him out again. We'll see. I guess we'll have to see whether or not Coach Williams makes a trek down down the dugout to shake his hand, tell him good job. But overall, it's been a great job tonight for Wolf. Here's some of his Ks. You can see right there, he had his off-speed working for him. That cutter right there was just doing a lot of damage. There he goes with it again. There's that big slider, big breaking ball from Wolf. Just did a great job living around the strike zone and really handling this Wolfpack lineup tonight. Great job by Adam Wolf. And if that's it for him, and if not, we'll see how he fares in the 8th.
Right-hander is Matsu Gochi. He goes back to the mound. New catcher, meanwhile, is Jack Conley, a junior out of Raleigh. He'll take over behind the plate for Patrick Bailey, who was listed for a pinch runner. Game moves to the bottom of the 7th. Louisville up 6-0. Cardinals have but 1 shutout win this year. That was an 11-0 win against Youngstown State way back on the 23rd of February. North Carolina State has not been blanked this year. In fact, you have to go all the way back to the final game of that 3-game series against Boston College, the last ACC series in which they lost, when they were defeated 1-0 in the finale of that 3-gamer for the last time that they were shut out. 6-0 Cardinals, bottom of the 7th. Comebacker will be the first out of the Cardinals' 7th inning. So Fitzgerald in the leadoff spot for only the 3rd time this year, 1 for 4. Gochi came on, got back-to-back strikeouts looking of Romaro and Levy to end the 6th. Gets the leadoff man here in the 7th. Jake Snyder 0 for 2 with a walk. First pitch swinging. They get the out. Close down there, but Patera gave it to Edwards. 4-3 out. Here comes Dan McDonald. He'll talk to Douglas Vines about it. And they want him to look at it. David Savage, the home plate umpire, along with Douglas Vines, will go in and take a look.
Yeah, I'm not sure about this one. I thought he was out, but you know, there's sometimes you never know whenever it comes to looking at the replay.
Now this could be, you tell me, this could be a little gamesmanship right here.
Well, in my opinion, I didn't want to say it, but I think that could be it right there. I think you could be right. Yeah, I think it's pretty apparent he was out. It was close play, but
again, not enough video evidence to overturn that on that video replay.
No, I don't think so. I think they're pretty sure of it right there.
And he's out. But again, could be a little gamesmanship on the fact that NC State asked for a review of the play at second base on the pinch runner Brown. So Dan McDonald says, all right, you can do it, I can do it too.
Yeah, I think that could have been it right there, and at the same time moved pretty quick and not too much damage done.
So Devin Mann bats with 2 out. Mann had a double back in the 1st inning. meaning he's now reached base in 13 straight games.
I credit Goche for going inside and throwing inside to a lot of these Cardinal hitters. Something that not a lot of college guys like to do. A lot of guys don't feel comfortable with throwing that inside pitch, but as you can see right there, he's doing a great job of really going at these guys. He's not afraid to throw in.
Cardinals went down in order in the second and in the fifth. Both of those against, well, one was against Piedmont, one was against Justice. Now Goche has them in a position to do the same thing here in the seventh. Got him on strikes. That is indeed the case for Goche. Down in order go the Cardinals, and we are through 7.
Today's college baseball.
6-0 in favor of Louisville. We head to inning number 8. Only 2 hits allowed by Cardinal left-hander Adam Wolf. He gives way here to the right-hander Shea Smitty.
Well, Smitty struggled a little bit here lately, but as you can see right there, 23 2/3 this year, giving up just 14 walks and with 29 strikeouts. We've talked about a lot with Smitty, a guy from Defiance, Ohio, and as I've mentioned before, every guy that I've ever known from Defiance has had a great curveball. Smitty's no exception to that. He uses it a lot to his advantage. And
new right fielder for the Cardinals, Adam Elliott, takes over out there for Drew Campbell. So new right fielder, new pitcher. Inning number 8. Homestanding Cardinals up 6-0. They've out-hit NC State tonight 7-2. Deathridge leads it off. Smitty struggling a little bit as of late.
yeah, he has 9 earned runs in his last 9 innings. Not something that you really want to be. Not something you really want to have. Not something to be proud of, but it is baseball, and we go through those times every once in a while.
This marks his first relief appearance since the 3rd of March against Western Carolina. He had made 4 consecutive starts, all of those in conference games, including the first game of the doubleheader against Clemson. Heck of an off-speed pitch there. Deathridge is fanned twice tonight. Trying to keep a modest hitting streak of 6 games going. Bottom 3 in the order, Deathridge and Vasquez and Cooper. Only one Wolfpack runner has gotten as far as second base in this game, and he actually got as far as third, and that's on the fly ball to right field that Campbell will tell you he should have caught had it not been twilight time.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there was a lot of factors going into that ball.
Wind being another.
Yeah, definitely. Ball just kept pushing back towards the wall, and he just had no shot at it.
Leadoff walk here to Brock Deathridge starts the 8th inning. Smitty has walked 14 in 23 2/3 coming in. That's not a number you want associated with you if you're a pitcher.
No, not at all.
And now a pinch hitter for Vasquez. This is going to be Brad Debo, one of the catchers on this club.
Yeah, there you have NC State 0 for 8 with runners on base. That doesn't get the job done. You know, we talked about time and time again what Louisville has struggled with a lot was timely hitting. And they've had guys on base. Obviously, they've got 52 stolen bases as a club, but struggling to get big hits when those guys get on base, and that's what NC State is struggling with tonight.
Well, they don't have one here, but they have a runner on base. Third walk issued by Cardinal pitching tonight. That's a heck of a breaking ball there, and Smitty gets the pinch hitter Debo on strikes.
A great pitch by Smitty. Does a great job using this breaking ball right here. Going kind of a backdoor curveball right there. Debo had no shot.
Now another pinch hitter, Shane Shepard, will bat for Dylan Cooper.
Yeah, late in the game, when your offense is struggling to get anything going, that's typically when you'll see a coach start to make some changes. Maybe get some young guys in the lineup, or even some older guys that are just on the bench.
Well,
you see him start to work those guys in there.
The freshman Vasquez had been 1 for 2, and he was lifted. And now Dylan Cooper, the sophomore, had been 0 for 2. He's lifted. Shane Shepard hitting at .212, but does have some pop, 4 home runs. Wow, he just missed on that.
It was a great pitch right there. That big breaking ball, and it looked like Shepard was about to get rung up right there, but umpire changed his mind, decided to go with the ball.
Now he gets the called third strike on a fastball over the outside corner. So both pinch hitters have been rung up.
Yeah, that was a great location right there, and he froze him. I think Shepard was looking for that big breaker again, and Smitty goes with a heater right there, painted on the outside corner, which is a great pitch with 2 strikes.
Perfect location, gets in the second out of the inning. And that's Josh McClain with a runner aboard, 2 out. Chase Smitty, a sophomore out of Defiance, Ohio, has worked both as a starter and as a reliever. Really, when you break it down, he had not allowed a run as a relief pitcher. And about 7 innings worth of work. All of the damage that's been done against him has been as a starter.
Yeah, and I think Smitty's one of those guys who's just better out of the bullpen. You know, a lot of guys want to be starters. It's nice to get that routine, but you know, there's a lot of arms that just don't work well in a starting role. You know, I can recall, you know, my senior year we had a lefty that for a while at the beginning of the season we tried to have him as a starter, but you know, he was just so much better when you brought him out of the bullpen and had him throw as hard as he could for 1 inning.
Down the left field line, and that ball is fair, and that is a home run. Third baseman now, Levy, is going to come in and say he wants to talk to Dan McDonnell. Mark Humphreys, the third base umpire, said that's a home run ball. Makes it 6-2 in favor of Louisville. Here comes Dan McDonnell now. Once the runners circled the bases, he'll come out to talk to David Savage, and he'll want that looked at. McClain tomahawked that ball down the left field line. Mark Humphreys appeared to have a pretty good look at it. Now the 4 umpires will get together, And they'll yay or nay whether they want to take a look at this or not. Umpires decide, yes, we will take a look at this. A good point on that situation is that the head coaches on a home run ball like that can ask for it to be looked at, but only the umpires can decide, yay, we want to, or no, we don't want to. It's not a challenge. It's simply, hey, we'd like you to take a look at that.
Well, then credit the umpires for wanting to take a look at it. Let's see what it looks like from here. It was really tricky to see, especially with this lighting. I'm not sure if the video is really going to help it. We'll see. Here it's coming down.
Well, the ball disappeared, in my view, behind the yellow pole. I believe that's a home run ball.
Yeah, I think it was too, honestly, from this angle. It looked like a homer to me.
See the
right,
ball
right whenever
down.
it goes past the pole is where you really need to see. Right in here is where it's going to get tricky.
If it disappears and you don't see it behind the pole, that means it's a fair ball. And it does.
Yeah,
if it was foul,
I think that's behind the pole
you'd
there,
still
yeah.
see the ball.
I think that's a good call. I think that's a homer.
For Josh McClain, it's going to be his third home run of the year. The umpires get a quick look at it and agree. So the Wolfpack will not be shut out for the first time this year. They get on the board on a 2-run homer by Josh McClain. RBIs 22 and 23. And it's a 6-2 game in favor of Louisville.
Now batting for NC State, the left fielder, number 6, Brett Kinnaman.
Go, stay in the box now.
Here's Brent Kinnaman with 2 out and 2 runs in. 4th home run given up by Shea Smitty this year. So a home run on both sides of the ledger. The grand slam by Wyatt, the 2-run homer by McClain on the NC State side. Kinnaman is 0 for 3, bounced into a double play as last time.